Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. You are watching NC Barndo Build, which is a channel that my wife and I have put together to document the building process for our homestead here in Alexander County, North Carolina. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for subscribing and thanks for following along on the build. I hope you've had a great summer. We've been extremely busy here and I haven't put out a whole lot of videos this summer because we've had a bunch of side projects to do. But we're back focusing on finishing up our 24 by 36 garage, and I think you'll be surprised at what we've done to the inside over the past couple of months. But for today's video, I want to talk about our Mr. Cool 24K DIY mini split system. I'm very happy with it up to this point, and I want to go through the pros and cons and what we've learned over the first 2 months of operation during this summer. Okay, here's the data plate for our unit. It's the DIY 24K unit, 240 or 230 volts. I have it on a 30 amp circuit, and I will say I had some issues because it's on a 30 amp circuit. To meet code, I had to use number 8 wire, and it was a struggle. The connectors that came with the unit didn't fit number 8, so I had to run to the electrical store uptown and find some connectors that would work for number 8. So that was a little bit tricky, but otherwise everything worked out pretty well electrically. I had to put in a disconnect. Of course, this is code. So there's my exterior disconnect. You just pull that out and it shuts the unit off. I'm not gonna do that now, but that's what it is. The one thing I did figure out that I was really happy with on the electrical side of things was how these turned out using these boxes. I have a video that I'll link up in the corner that shows how these box adapters, PVC box adapters, work really well to make a nice finished watertight seal if you decide to do steel siding. The one downside that I didn't meet my expectations was the insulation that was on the coil. The sun, I think the UV rays really broke it down fast and it became dry and brittle and started cracking. So I reinforced it, the areas that were the worst, and put some new insulation around it, some new foam. And then I wrapped it with this PVC HVAC tape to protect it from the UV. You can see the chickens have been walking over it too, but that was the one downside to the stuff, the supplies that came with it. But otherwise, these coils were easy to, or these line sets were easy to hook up, and it was really a piece of cake. The line set covers are really nice. That's an extra kit that you can buy to cover the lines coming out, which worked out well. I wanted to run it down a little lower, but this stone ledge here gave me some fits and I didn't want to have to chip it out. I wanted to leave it well enough alone. So that's the final product. The other thing, and this was my fault, was I should have flipped the coil back around so it was actually behind the unit and hidden after I got it hooked up. And the line sets, since they come pre-charged, once it's hooked up, it's a done deal. So if I ever have to have service at some point down the road and have to have an HVAC guy come out to recharge it, I may flip that around so it's hidden. But lesson learned there for when we do the house build on that. All right, let's go take a look at the inside unit. Okay, so I'll get you guys caught up on the inside of the building here. We've decided to do a little bit of a temporary man cave here to give us a little extra space to go along with the camper. So we put a little kitchenette in with a small refrigerator. This is a makeshift temporary bedroom for right now. I have plans for that down the road. And if you excuse the mess, it's not completely done yet. We just put up trim, pretty close to having it finished. I need to trim, finish some drywall up in the corners, but it's getting there. Back to the mini split. Here's the indoor head unit. We have it set at 76 degrees and we're just in a low idle mode right now. Very quiet on the inside. The thermostat is over there on the wall. It's a wireless thermostat. And you can see the room temperature is 74 degrees with 62% humidity. And we're in the cooling mode, auto for the fan. Here's what we've learned during the first couple of months of operation with this unit. First off, I noticed right away that the room temperature was always a degree or two lower than the set point on the unit. So right now we have the unit set at 76 degrees and the room temperature is actually at 74. I think that has a lot to do with the unit never really completely shutting off, or very rarely does it completely shut down. It goes into a really low idle mode and there's a small amount of air coming out of the unit pretty much all the time. I'm okay with that because it keeps the humidity levels really low inside the building, which is nice. We're at 63% right now, which is really comfortable in here. So keep that in mind with the unit. If you like it at 76 degrees, you can always adjust your thermostat maybe up to 78, 77 degrees, and you're gonna be right within a couple of degrees of your set point. The other thing I've noticed with this mini split unit, this is my first time dealing with the mini split, is with our setup, we have the mini split in the room that we're currently in, which is in the back half of the garage. And then this room over here, which is a temporary bedroom for right now, this is a separate room divided by this wall, which is uninsulated, of course. And I can notice when the set point is extreme, like if we drop it down to 72 degrees, 73 degrees, in this room, I can notice a little bit of a temperature difference as I step back into this room. Now, right now I don't notice it because we're set up higher at 76 degrees, so it feels pretty much the same. But I'm thinking maybe this winter, it'll be interesting to see, because all the heating will be coming from this room and flowing through here, if I'll notice a big temperature difference. The other key to this build, if you've been following along, is I did not insulate the outer edge of the slab. So the outer edge of the slab is exposed to the exterior. That may have a little bit of an effect on temperature wise, and I'm going to keep my eyes really close on the edges for condensation issues as well when we get into the heating. Now, I think I've done a pretty good job with waterproofing. I sealed and put a membrane on the outside of the wall. There's a membrane underneath the concrete slab. There's plastic, and we've seal coated the top portion of the concrete as well. So I think moisture-wise, we're sitting in a good spot for the slab. But if the slab is cold and I have warm air in here, if it hits that cold slab, it may condensate. We'll see what happens this winter. That'll be in another update video as we go on. But so far during the cooling season, I love the mini split. I think it's a great setup for us. And as of right now, my plan is to move on and put that into the house as well. We'll have a couple of units outside and we'll have several head units on the inside. Each bedroom will have a head unit, and the living room, since it's a big open concept room, the kitchen, dining, and living room, family room, office is all in one huge room. We're gonna do 2 heads in there as well. So I think we're in a good spot for this building. I think we're gonna be in a good spot for the house. We've learned a couple of things during this install that I can improve on and do better with the house build. And that was the whole reason for doing the garage build first. Is the mini split setup good for everyone? I don't think so. I think if you have an open concept, open floor plan in your house, I think a mini split units are the way to go. With us being kind of empty nesters, so to speak, the 2 bedrooms, it's a 3-bedroom home that we're going to be building, and the 2 bedrooms, when they're not in use, we can actually cut the heating and cooling off to those rooms if we really wanted to, which saves on our electric bill. So it's nice to have the house zoned with the heating and cooling, and we'll see how it plays out with that build down the road. But so far, I highly recommend the DIY Mr. Cool Mini Split. Very impressed with the cooling season. We'll have another update when we get into the heating season, and I'll let you guys know what we find out with this unit. And who knows, maybe I'll change my mind with the house build and we'll go forced air if we don't like how it heats. But up to this point, I'm sold on it, and I'm very happy that we made the purchase, and I learned a ton just doing the DIY install myself. So thanks for watching. We're gonna try to keep pumping more videos out. We're back on the build now. All the side projects are pretty much complete for this summer. So we're gonna get back in, try to get this building finished up and get prepped and ready to do the house build. Have yet to decide a timeline on the house. I wanna try to pick the dry season here, so to start the construction. So we may wait till next fall, early winter to do the house build. I'm not 100% sure yet. But stay tuned for that. We got lots more to come. We don't have this building wrapped up 100% yet, so I have plenty more to show you. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe. Comments, you can put them down below, and I try to do my best to answer any questions. And if you got feedback on your experience with the Mr. Cool, throw that in there as well. I learn just as much from you guys as you probably learn from me. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video.